Hi, good evening everyone. It's me again, Joshua, the founder of Women's Self-Defense and Wellness Community. WSTC is the abbreviation. Right, today's session will be a little bit more different compared to the past two episodes that we have done. Right, so this session we will have more actions, and we're going to go into a session called Practical Self-Defense. Right, so before we go into practical self-defense, let me introduce myself a little bit more. I will show you a slide. Right, so this is my topic of today, practical self-defense, body and mind. As you can see, why must we have both body and mind? Because both of this body and mind comes together. When you learn self-defense, it's not only about learning how to defend yourself by using all the punches, kicks or whatsoever, but it's also a philosophy whereby you know how to think, how to have a different kind of view in a different angle in terms of our life and challenges. Right, so this is my community that I have formed this year called Women's Self-Defense, and our philosophy is called Uniting Forms and Breaking Barriers. The main objective is to build up and train women in the areas of self-defense by using the simplest and energy-saving techniques to protect themselves, because women sometimes the opponent that they face are generally bigger size than them, men especially. So they need to know what are the most efficient way to get out of that situation. To strengthen every woman's physical, emotional strength as well in terms of crisis. So this applies to both areas, right? In emotional and also in terms of physical. Third one, to build and form a support group for women in the areas of emotion and protection needs. So we will have a group that is actually consists of women in different industries and different areas of life. They are actually supporting one another in terms of emotional support and also as friendship, and combining strength of each martial arts to develop into a new fighting and combat mechanism, and also lastly to break physical and mental barriers to overcome challenges. Right, my own profile, I will just briefly introduce myself. I have 15 years in martial art, Taekwondo first dan, black belt, Wing Chun and JKD, Jeet Kune Do. Right, my teaching philosophy is always about breaking your barriers, mindset and physical limitation. Being able to flow like water is one of the key things that I teach in my class. My top skills are chain punches, back fist, hand trapping, speed turning kick and back kick. It's one of my certificate. And firstly, let's understand about our first two things we have to talk about now is understanding the human body and natural reflexes. Okay, so how do we understand about natural reflexes? If someone is going to attack you right now, give you a punch here, so what are you going to do? Your natural reflection is to avoid. Bring up your hand and avoid. So this is all very simple techniques that we are going to use. And we have to understand our body structure and also the sensitive point, the pressure point of our body as well. If we want to get out of the situation, when the situation is getting too hard for you to get out, right? So you have to know where is the pressure point of the body. That's one of my classes. I will actually teach them which one are sensitive points, right? All these things will be registered in my students' mind so that they may be able to react in times of crisis, right? Second thing is about combat movement. You need to be able to move. You need to be able to move. You can't just stand there, and when the person punch you of course you know how to punch, because probably you have learned some self-defense or martial arts before and other types of martial arts. But if you know how to punch, you know how to kick, but you don't know how to move, so it's also a very problematic area for you, because people are not going to just stand there and hit you. They will actually come from all directions, and if you just stand there and punch here, punch there, eventually you will get hit yourself if you do not know how to move. So the basic movement that I'm teaching is actually under Jeet Kune Do, martial art, a hybrid martial art that is formed by Bruce Lee, our great grandmaster Bruce Lee. Right, so it's the principle is about flowing with water. If you know how to move, like how to flow with the water, generally you are very flexible, and people do not know which direction you are moving, because you are actually confusing the opponent, right? First thing first, relax your shoulder, right? You can do this at home at your own time. It's just an exercise for you to relax your mind, and also to work out and sweat out, okay? And obviously we shouldn't on the aircon when we work out lah, right? So first thing first, you have to imagine that you have actually all the direction is actually clockwise, right? So clockwise, not sure whether you can see my leg, but it's okay. The movement is just very simple. To move forward, move back to the center, move to 1 o'clock, move to center, move to 3, move back to center, move to your 4 o'clock, move back to center, 6 o'clock, come back center, 7, 9 o'clock, and lastly is 11 o'clock. You come back to center. So every time you move, you need to every time you move forward, you need to go back to your center original point. You can't just punch here and then you stay here. People is going to punch you. So after you punch, you have to come back to your center. So this is a basic movement that we teach our student to be able to flow like a water. So some of my students I observe, they're very stiff over here, right? This is natural because I came from that kind of background as well. So when it's very stiff, you are moving like robot, and when you want to react, it's a few seconds slower because you are tensed, you are stressed out because I have to punch the person so I can move, right? So you naturally see your entire body is tensed up. So imagine when you are tensed up, your mind can't think properly because naturally there's a blockage there, right? So we will always teach a student, relax yourself, relax your shoulder. When you move, just flow like a water, because when you flow like a water, it's easy for you to move, fast for you to react. You can come here, you can go there, you can run over there. So because of limited space, I won't move too much. Probably I'll break something later, right? So this session I will stop here for a while, and the next session we're going to do punches. We're going to teach you the basic punches, and we will continue on with self-defense techniques. How are you going to get out from self-defense? How are you going to get out from those challenges when people attack you? Strangulation, grabbing, what else you have? Punches, yeah? So I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.